Hello, I'm calling from that trip. I'd like to confirm a call.
Wait a minute, 2 hours. I'm coming up like this.
Was it over 7 now?
You said no flowers. Didn't that mean I wasn't supposed to send flowers? I know Jane never said what she meant, but I didn't think the same went for her executor.
Is that my county assessor's story?
What paper?
Had to let go of the last 3 grabs.
Is the part about him eating lamb chops with his fingers in or out?
It's in. It was a nice vulgar touch.
Oh, you liked it. Good.
Can't you just send me the papers? We've got a notary right here in the building. I could sign them and get them back the next day.
They were those little loin lamb chops. It's not unheard of for people to pick them up and eat them. Should I say that?
I'm sorry.
Rossi, the guy ate with his fingers in a fancy restaurant. He's a slob. He reads like an ill-bred, eager slob. You're doing him a favor.
Let's say that weren't an issue, okay?
Would it change the story if I had the lamb chops, too?
Only if you ate them with your fingers.
It seemed appropriate at the time.
Leave turning color's not a bonus.
Oh,
They turn here,
brother.
too.
We gotta lose it?
Drop off every January.
Rossi, that's entrapment.
What if I give you power of attorney? You know, if you'd have told me this a week ago, I could have gone to the funeral, too. Yeah, that's right. It's too late now. Look, I'll call you when I book my flight. Okay.
Lou, Winnie hasn't checked in yet.
Hold the thought. Charlie, my aunt died.
Oh, Lou, I'm sorry. Sit down.
No, she'd been dead a week and I hadn't seen her in a blue moon. She made me her chief beneficiary 100 years ago, and the lawyer back in Goshen wants me to straighten things out.
Goshen?
Goshen, Michigan, where I was born.
Land of Goshen.
That's right.
Oh, it's nice to get your trip back home.
The plan is to duck in and duck out. Can you spring me?
It would be Donovan's pleasure.
Don't I know?
Motel that's any good is 12 miles out by the interstate.
What about the place that was fake log cabins?
Oh, Lord. Burned to the ground 20 years ago. I figured you'd want to stay at your aunt's. She kept the place up nice.
Fine, good idea.
Storm windows aren't in now.
Oh, that's all right. Listen, Howard, you're being awfully nice about this. I'm sorry if I was salty with you on the phone.
Oh, Lou, it's okay. Everybody'd warned me about your temper.
No fooling? I didn't think I got my temper till the Army.
Recognize things now?
What's this, Wooster Street?
Grove. Dutch elm got some of the trees along here. That's why things are looking so poorly.
Mm-hmm.
And the gypsy moths are on their way. It's just a matter of time.
Doggone it.
What?
I forgot to back shirts.
It's always something, isn't it? We'll get you to some shirts. You probably remember the Episcopal Church. And the Lutheran. Dutch Reform is now some kind of Bible study place. And here we are on Worcester. Remember the high school?
Oh, yeah. You have a vandalism problem?
Oh, no, the school's been consolidated. All the kids go to Perrysburg now.
You mean no more Goshen Hornets?
Perrysburg Highlanders. Band wears kilts.
Poor boys.
Of course, the basketball team got consolidated right out of existence, too. We had our share of good teams.
Basketball was a game, I remember that.
You can thank all the good Pollock mamas for that. Every year, 2 or 3 of those big kielbasa babies would make the first string. And here's your street.
Oh, yeah.
Lou, nobody knew Jane was as sick as she was, or somebody would have called you.
I know you would. Well, all ashore that's gone ashore.
I figured you'd want to have an estate auction on all the furnishings and such. I had my girl make up a list of everything so you can run an ad in the paper.
An auction, that's a good idea.
By the time all the bills are paid, you won't come out with much.
Oh, I know that.
Can I give you a tour?
This was my parents' house. I grew up here. My Aunt Jane moved in with my mother after my father passed away.
Wow, that is nice. Welcome home, Lou.
Thank you. And now, how about pointing me in the direction of a new shirt?
Don't you want to get settled in?
I am settled in.
Okay. There are some real nice department stores in the mall.
Where's that?
We passed it coming in from the airport out by the interstate.
Oh, no. Someplace in town is fine.
Oh, then I'm afraid we're stuck with Brookmeyer's.
Don't you let the Chamber of Commerce catch you talking like that.
Heck, Lou, I'm the president of the chamber.
Is it too late to place a classified ad?
Yeah, they don't take them after 3. You can go back there and try, though.
Can I mention your name?
Yeah, tell them Eric sent you. That'll get you some action.
Which of you guys has a South Enterprise route?
Me.
Is Cemetery Hill as bad as ever?
I do it first because I hate it the most.
Me too. I had that route 3 years. It was tougher than football practice. You got an extra copy you can sell me?
It's 20 cents now. Sorry.
That's okay. The paper I work for now costs a quarter.
Bet you have a tough time collecting, huh?
I lucked out. They don't make me do that anymore. Take it easy. Excuse me.
Lou, I heard you were in town.
Yep, I am.
Hap Constable.
Holy smokes, Hap. How in the world are you?
You know, us small-time newspaper guys, broad-beamed and narrow-minded. Come on in.
You look good here.
Oh, come on, pal. It's the same rat's nest you left in 43.
No, I mean it.
Oh, sure. Close your eyes, plug your ears, and except for the smell, you might be in the city room of the L.A. Trib. How's it feel being on one of the big ones?
Well, considering how tough the competition is in L.A., we're holding our own. Every once in a while, we do a little better than that.
Learned to spell yet?
Learn to use a dictionary.
That's my claim to fame. I told Lou Grant he couldn't spell. How's the family?
Oh, the girls are great. All 3 are grown up and long gone.
And the lady?
Edie and I have been split up going on about 10 years now.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Gee.
So how are things here? I hear the glass plant's got people working 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off.
Yeah, everybody's tightening their belts.
Real estate looks pretty slow. I saw a few vacant storefronts.
Well, don't worry, Lou. You sell your aunt's house.
Mr. Constable, can I have some collection envelopes?
Yes, you can. Eric, I want you to meet Lou Grant.
Hi.
It's good for the kid to know that there are newspaper men that don't have to print wedding invitations.
We've met.
Yeah, but I didn't know you were Mr. Grant. I'm supposed to say hi from my mom and ask you to dinner sometime.
Who's your mom?
Mrs. Cusick.
She was Carol Barilski.
Well, I sure do know your mom. Tell her hello for me and apologize to her that I won't be in town long enough to come to dinner.
Okay, bye. Nice to meet you.
Wait till Carol hears you're divorced.
Oh, come on.
Isn't she an old flame?
We just had a couple of classes in high school together.
She's still got her looks.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Look at that poker face. Remind me never to play 7-card stud with you.
Does Paul Polizinski still work here?
Nobody still works here. They shut this down.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E.
When did this place stop making milk bottles?
About 3 years after people stopped using them. Those are vinegar bottles you saw. And over on the other side, we've got a 10-ounce mustard and a novelty hand lotion bottle that's shaped like a fish. The detail on it is real nice. Lamson Foods decided we weren't making enough return for their stockholders, so bang, they shut us down.
Lamson Foods? They're based in L.A.
That's all right, Lou. I don't hold you personally responsible.
Don't they need jars for their mustard?
Lamson Foods is truck tires, drywall, and an air freight company. When they put out Mr. Pickett 4 years ago, they weren't near so interested in his glass factory as they were in his molybdenum mine.
But people still use glass bottles, right? There's a market, right? Why do they shut down a plant that's producing?
Because most of the machinery is older than we are. Because waste disposal costs are up because the government decided that we can't throw things in a river anymore.
What do you think you'll do?
Well, I'm the union rep, so the first thing I did was to call a meeting for tonight, and the second thing I did was unload my 10 shares of Lamson Foods.
Arthur Donovan, executive city editor. May I help you?
Gee, this is such fun.
Hey, Lou, you remember how Sweeney's asbestos story was slugged?
Has not run yet?
It'll run as soon as we can find out where you and Sweeney hid it. It's not under asbestos, carcinogen, lung, lawsuit, or hazardous.
Asbestosis.
Not asbestos. Asbestosis. That's not fair, Lou.
Blame it on Sweeney. Put Charlie on.
Okay, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Charlie, it's Lou. Listen, so how's the trip?
Great. I have a choice between sleeping in the bed I had mumps in or my dead aunt's bed.
Use the couch.
Davenport. I may.
Lou, how's your aunt doing?
She's dead.
I'm sorry.
I'll see you, Lou.
Right. Listen, Charlie, when I come back, I want to send somebody out here. There's a glass factory owned by Lamson Foods. Corporate headquarters in L.A. has decided to shut it down. The local angle for us is very good.
Yeah, we don't want to send somebody that far.
Charlie, this is the rarest of all birds, a business story with human interest.
I like the story. We'll use it. Ard'll assign someone to Lamson Foods today. But we're going to use the reporter we've got out there already. Our man at Goshen. Tear our hearts out, Lou.
Were you able to find anything out about the Goshen Glass Company?
Yeah, I was. You caught me off guard when we talked on the phone, but I prepared a, here it is, a whole press kit for you. You see, somebody figured out that Goshen Glass...
Goshen.
Goshen. That Goshen Glass wasn't growing like the rest of our subsidiaries, and a red light went on, and we had to fold the operation.
How many people are going to lose their jobs as a result of the shutdown?
Well, some of them will take early retirement, and all of them get up to 18 months of unemployment benefits. The Lamson Foods family is over 85,000. I think we're losing 250 tops. Talking handfuls.
my friend, the newspaperman. How'd the meeting go?
I'm going to tell you, but let me wind down a minute. I'm the luckiest skunk I know, and it's so great that you're here to see all this. You want to know why?
Tell me. Also tell me where we're going.
Well, let's go to Peluso's. I'm in the mood for a belt.
Sounds good.
You remember that night that somebody knocked over all of the headstones in the Catholic side of the cemetery?
I was in high school. I'd forgotten there was a Catholic side of the cemetery.
It still is. Remember how you gave a speech the next day at Assembly?
That was my campaign speech. I was running for student council.
President of the student council, I think. Yeah, you quoted Thomas Jefferson and Thoreau, one of those French thinkers.
Rousseau. I'm amazed you remember that.
You talked about the dignity of all men and respect for their differences. Every Pollock in the school, including myself, voted for you.
I still lost.
I was just a freshman then. Well, you really knocked me out. And tonight, I did one of the best things I ever did for the guys at Goshen Glass, and you're here.
What'd you do?
Now, the Chamber of Commerce is trying to find somebody to buy the plant, but nobody's interested in an old glass factory, so tonight I asked the guys of Local 462 if they wouldn't like to try buying it themselves. Why? It's there, Lou. It's producing us 250 jobs. Huh? They told me to give it a shot. Yeah. And right then the choir started practicing. It sounded like an official sanction from all. We're going to try taking over Goshen Glass.
Boy.
Well, what are your impressions of Goshen?
I should have brought wool socks.
No, I mean about the town itself.
Well, I'm glad to see that so much of it hasn't changed.
Well, what about what has changed? What do you really think?
I'm sorry to see the empty storefronts. I'm sorry about the glass plant closing and the Gypsy Mars coming. I'm sorry to see the kind of shape that Goshen is in. And you can go ahead and quote me so people can remember what a complainer I always was.
Oh, don't worry, Mr. Grant.
Lou.
None of that'll make the paper. The leader doesn't believe in bad news, unless, of course, it's about someplace else.
You gotta be kidding.
Shoplifting is up in town. The storekeepers think it's the unemployment. People are ordering less in restaurants. Median age in Goshen is 52. Of the last graduating class at Goshen High, all but 5 kids have left town. I've pitched all these things to Hap as stories, and every time he tells me the same thing. Everybody knows what trouble this town is in. They don't want to be reminded of it in the leader.
Give me that notebook. And tell me that again.
Can always shove the flood in Pakistan inside.
How close are you on the Sunbelt story?
Close. Basically what it is this social economist from LAU has kept his grad students chained to computers for the last 5 years and decided that the population of the country is shifting from northeast to south and west.
That's it?
No, he offers some recommendations like face facts and stop pumping federal money into the Frost Belt, help businesses relocate in the Sun Belt.
A lot of that's already happening.
The man is despicable. He's the value system of a Visigoth. Build a city, bleed it dry, move on.
You know, I hate to sound like a sore winner here, but what's wrong with this population shift? If you had to pay twice as much for your heating oil, you'd probably want to move where it's warmer.
And if I owned a company, I might like to move somewhere where the unions weren't so strong.
Where'd you grow up, Rossi?
Jersey.
You like it here?
Yeah.
You got any plans to go back and look for work someday?
Probably not, but that's not the point I'm trying to make.
I know. It's the point I'm trying to make.
I don't want to sound too cheery, Len, but it's hard to give up on Goshen when there are sharp young guys willing to stick it out.
Where?
Sharp young wise guys.
Not me, Lou. I was out of here 2 years ago at Michigan State. Then my dad got laid off at the cannery, and I came home to help out. Next chance I get, I'm leaving this town for good.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E.
Mr. Grant, of course, can take care of that. I really should have had it Simonized. My friend, you can fill the inside of a 58 Chevy with cement. She'll still sell. Now, Mr. Grant, got a lot of snapshots in here. It's all mixed in with the sewing goods. I think you better take a look at them. It's all right, Skip. You can sell them. They look like family pictures. It's okay. Sell them. Now, whatever the church ladies make off refreshments, that's theirs. I get 10% of the receipts and first dibs on the pretty girls. Just kidding, Mr. Grant. Well, we'll both do real good today. Thanks. The lady back there, she with you? Nope.
Cousin Lou.
Hi.
I'm Aunt Jane's niece, Margie.
Aunt Jane didn't have any nieces.
Oh, Lou, exactly. I'm her sister's brother-in-law's daughter-in-law. And I just came over from Perrysburg to see if I could give you a hand with the sale.
Oh, that's awfully nice of you, Margie.
You ought to sort out the collectibles.
What are collectibles?
Oh, my, I'm not surprised that you don't know, but that auctioneer ought to. Those crockery mixing bowls and the cologne bottles, and he's got depression glass mixed in with their dishes, and my clocks.
Those are your clocks?
I can't tell you the evenings I spend keeping Aunt Jane company, and she'd always say, the clocks are yours, Margie.
See, I feel terrible, Margie. She didn't put that in her will.
Well, Lou, she was an old lady, you know. And that funny old car over there, my boy was the one who kept it running. The hours he spent, and Jane was so grateful.
Would you like the car, Margie? And the clocks?
Oh, Lou, of course I would.
And I'd like you to have them. I hope you outbid everyone. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. $5 once, $5 twice, $5. Sold at number 47. Look at this charming clock. It doesn't work. Look at the cabinet. Look at the wood in that clock. This is a hand-carved wooden clock. It doesn't work. But look at the wonderful work. Look at that wonderful woodwork. I want to hear 25. 22? We've got 22. Do I hear 25? Thank you. 25. I'm at 25. Do I hear 30? $25 sold. We've got an electric room up next. Somebody's showing me $4. Do I hear 5? Thank you, friend. $5. $5.50? Lady, how much are you bidding? $5.50? $6? $6, lady. Thank you. Do I hear 7? $7. Where do I hear 7? 7, lady. And $8 on the electric broom. Do I hear 9? Oh, she runs like new. $9. Thank you, sir.
I had my eye on this all morning.
Looks like a pretty good sander.
It is. I used to borrow from Miss Grant all the time.
Frank, were you at the meeting night before last?
In the church basement? Sure.
Well, what do you think? You think you guys can buy Goshen glass?
Well, old Polozhinsky sure seems to think we can. I'm thinking maybe I ought to start subscribing to the Houston Post.
Why?
Check out the classifieds. I got a pal. He worked at the tomato cannery before it shut down. He got a good job in air conditioning in Houston. Yeah, I don't know how Ev would take the move, though. She's so close to her sisters, and she's in charge of the flowers at the Methodist Church. I'm still thinking.
Mr. Grant, look what I got for a quarter.
Hi, Eric. You know Mr. Blankenship?
Hi. It's these neat old magazines. One of them's from when Kennedy got shot.
Hang on to those, Eric.
I'm gonna.
He's a pack rat. Just like his mom.
Carol.
You remember when anybody used to go to the city. I always used to make him bring me back matchbooks. Hi, Frank.
Hi.
Hi, Lou.
Hi, Carol. How are you?
Just fine. Well, you look terrific.
So do you.
Now, listen, I'm not going to take no for an answer. No, you're coming to dinner. Oh, come on. Matt wants to meet you. We want to hear all about L.A. and...
I'd love to. I really would. But I'm under such pressure now. Even my paper's got me writing a story about Goshen glass. I won't have to ask you for a rain check.
Well, come on over one morning for breakfast.
I just can't. I really don't eat breakfast. Excuse me,
You got to see a man about a job? Very nice to see you again, Lou.
Really nice seeing you again, Carol.
page through yet? This is very enlightening. Billy, I can't believe you don't want to read this.
I will read Lou's story when it's my business to read Lou's story.
It is such a hoot. He writes that old bare bones wire service style. Dateline Goshen.
Hey, the guy hasn't written anything since about 1959. Give him a break.
Oh, I love it, really. It's cute.
You'd never guess in a million years that he grew up in this town.
Or even been in the town.
Come on, if I had to go back to Rapid City, I'd probably want to be detached, too.
That's because you grew up in a city without texture. You couldn't write a decent story about Newark without atmosphere.
I hope nobody's arguing that point.
Rapid City's got atmosphere.
I'm talking about the smell of oil in the streets when the rain starts, the sound of guys on the corner singing in close harmony.
We had oily streets and barbershop quartets, too, you know.
Close, Billy.
Talking rock and roll, you know? The sounds of the city. Eating Italian ices on the front stoop.
Well, Honolulu certainly had texture. Trying to get on the good side of the Samoan kids, going to school barefoot. The awful poi in the cafeteria.
Am I the only suburbanite in the bunch?
The suburbs. There's your youth in a vacuum.
I guess Lou and I were the only ones with plain old normal childhoods. Did you ever catch fireflies on a summer night and put them in glass jars?
What?
Sure, you'd poke holes in the top of the lid and you'd put little blades of grass in, but they'd always die the next day.
Talk about sadistic.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
I never heard of such a thing.
Why would you want to bottle up something beautiful?
I used to squish scorpions, but that was self-defense. It was them or me.
Rossi here. Yeah, I'll tell her. It's Tim Switzer from Lamson Foods on your line.
Thanks. On my way.
We didn't mean to be cruel.
It's too late now. She won't sleep tonight, you know.
Every time she sees a bug, she'll have the overwhelming urge to apologize.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E.
Come in.
Thank you.
You sent me out.
I did.
Yeah, you did. You had a reporter back in Michigan covering that glass story.
That's right. I covered the story from this end.
So you quote me, out of context, saying how only handfuls of employees are going to get laid off.
It was a direct quote in context. 250 jobs in a town that size is devastating.
And you run it next to a picture of a stone-faced hard hat standing on a bridge with his kid.
That's the story, isn't it?
Kids are a cheap shot. I've got kids of my own.
You're not out of a job.
Well, Lamson Foods was misrepresented. This corporation is doing the best it can to help the people of Goshen. And the members of Local 462 adjust to an unfortunate but necessary situation.
Have you told anybody in Goshen?
Now, first off, we're going to have to convince Lamson that we're serious buyers. That's going to mean community investment in this thing.
Are you talking about a bond issue?
Well, first, I'm talking about individual investment. People buying stocks, bank loans, but I'm talking about some money being spent by the city.
I'll tell you right now, I don't like the sound of that.
Come on, you guys are always giving breaks to incoming businesses.
Yeah.
Cities are always promising to take care of new businesses that are trying to recruit because they want those payrolls. They want people spending money at the superette, the gas stations, and their lawyers. Jobs, Howie, that's what it comes down to. It comes down to jobs.
I just don't want you to think that I'm running out on you when a vote is taken on this thing.
Still close-minded, Mole. Maybe I can soften up the mayor before the meeting.
Who else is going to be there?
Ray Hoyt from the bank. He's a tough sell. I applied for a second mortgage on my house today.
A second mortgage?
Yeah. Yeah, I want the powers that be to know that we're going to put our money where our mouths are. So, $15,000 for my second. If I can scrounge another $2.5 million more, we're in.
How's this thing going to work?
Well, first we have to do a feasibility study, and then I'm going to put together all of the investors, the employees, the bank, people who want to buy stock, Maybe I can get the city to invest some. See if the government will give us a loan guarantee. There's a lot of ways to go.
Sounds chancy.
Well, there are a lot of businesses that are pulling it off. I'd call it exciting.
You know, what I can't figure out is why you're looking for excitement.
What does that mean?
Well, your plan might not work. You ought to consider that possibility.
It'll work.
I mean it.
You newspaper guys are always trying to poke holes. I don't begrudge you, but something has to be done about Goshen.
Damn it, Paul, I'm not talking about Goshen. I'm talking about you. You're 50 years old. What if you lose your house in this scheme? What if you're out of a job and your house? Goshen's a dying town, and you're a middle-aged man. Find yourself a town that's not dying. Pack up the RV and don't look back.
I was born in this town.
So was I.
You don't think we owe it anything?
I sure don't.
Then I'd say that one of us is a damn fool.
Is Carolyn? Is this Mr. Kuzik? My name is Lou Grant. Matt, nice to meet you too. I saw something today that reminded me of something I wanted to say to Carol. No message. No, nothing important at all. She doesn't have to call me back. No. Okay. Thanks.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E.
Coming.
I'm returning your call.
Carol, hi. You didn't have to come over.
Oh, that's all right. I usually take a walk after supper anyway.
Sit down. I'm sorry. Nobody told me I shouldn't auction off all the furniture. Here, let me take your coat.
Oh, thank you.
But listen, if you want coffee, we've got to go to the Dairy Bell.
Coffee? I don't even drink coffee after 7 o'clock.
Oh, I shouldn't, but I do.
You know, even without the furniture, this is really a nice house.
Well, you know this house. This used to be my folks' house.
Oh, yeah, I know. I've never been inside.
No?
No.
Well, I can give you a tour.
Okay.
This is the living room. Every year we put the Christmas tree there by the window.
And you hung your stocking over there.
It was white felt. Every year I got a candy cane and a pair of brown socks. Traditions I've tried to pass on. But Edie thought our daughters wouldn't wear brown socks even if they were traditional. And this is the dining room, as you can see. And here's the kitchen.
You know, I always thought that your parents were rich.
Really? My dad sold office supplies. There never was much money. And my mother's one big gesture of deception was so transparent. She changed the buttons on her good coat every year. You must have been the only one she fooled. Remember the old Plymouth I got senior year?
I had a radio. Yes, and you were the only boy I knew with a car that had a radio.
Aunt Jane paid for half of that. I found that out tonight. She had her canceled checks in old shoe boxes, and one was marked Lou's car.
Nice.
It would have been a whole lot nicer if she had told me about it so I could have thanked her for it. Instead, I'm this ungrateful rat. I've got this 40-year-old loose end hanging. One more thing to sweat about at 4 o'clock in the morning. I never thanked Jane for the 34 Plymouth. I never told Carol Barilski that I wasn't going to see her again.
You mean I'm going to finally get to find out why?
I don't know if I can explain why. I just remembered leaving you in the lurch, and I wanted to apologize.
First thing I thought was that my mother was right about what happens to bad girls.
No. You were the sweetest girl. I was crazy about you.
Was it your folks?
I know that's why I never brought you here. Mother and Dad both. Well, I knew they wouldn't like me seeing a Catholic girl. I remember not wanting to hurt them.
Well, I'm glad I know. It's one less loose end to both.
You were the first girl I ever thought about marrying.
I was?
I had this completely naive dream I used to think about whenever I used to walk to your house. We'd be living in this big glass apartment building in Chicago. I had one of these umbrella stands. There was one of these old Chinese vases. You'd be serving dinner on the balcony, and Tuscany would be playing something smooth on this big Stromberg Carlson we were going to have.
I don't remember you liking classical music.
I didn't. I thought that would come with a good job and the balcony and the giant radio. And by this time, I'd be turning the corner of Enterprise and I'd see your house. I could see you inside laughing with your dad, talking in Polish. I could smell the cabbage. You always wore that cloth necklace with the Madonna on it.
Scapular.
Scapular. Yeah, and you'd always take that scapular off whenever we'd start to kiss, and I swore that we were going to be struck dead. Anyhow, my dumb, sick kid mind, you were suddenly someone I could never bring home. I didn't want you in my daydream.
Just knew it with some dumb reason like that.
It was a mistake to tell you. This trip was a mistake. Who needs to be reminded of these ungrateful, egotistical, bigoted, temperamental little phony?
For Pete's sakes, you're just a dope.
A little phony and a dope.
Okay, just tell me. Who in the world did childhood well? I mean, I was absolutely rotten to my baby brother. Thought all those Catholic boys were goony, and I was so embarrassed by my big feet that I always bought a pair of shoes one size too small. Oh, isn't that what being a kid is? I wised up. I'm sure you did too.
I hope I did. I married a Catholic girl.
You are kidding. Polish?
Ukrainian.
Never last.
It didn't. 23 years and out.
I don't wear the scapular anymore. Well, it used to drive me that crazy, too.
Let me walk you home.
Okay. You can meet him.
I don't want to meet him. I want to walk you home.
Time is really what could do us in here. Lamson Foods is in a frame of mind to accommodate us, but that's because it's not costing them an arm and a leg. Now, I'd like you gentlemen to look at paragraph 3 of the proposal. This whole thing really figures out.
What have I missed? Opening salvos. Ray Hoyt, the banker who's dressed like a banker. He's done nothing but doodle all over the proposal Paul gave them. I'm not sure he's still awake.
I'd like to express something, Paul, which I think many of us here are feeling. What do you people know about running a business?
This is Goshen Glass. We know one hell of a lot about running Goshen Glass.
You see? And I mean this respectfully. You seem to be seriously underestimating the role of management in all this.
We know the value of management.
I've got to tell you, I'm made very nervous by all this talk of city government getting tied in with a private business.
And what kind of private business are we talking about when the employees are running the place? I don't like the sound of it.
Well, we're going to have
to me.
Excuse me, Mr. Hoyt, go ahead.
Well, it makes sense to me. You know, we're always talking about people getting up off their rear ends and taking a little initiative. Seems to me if Mr. Pologinski and the men he represents want to take a crack at operating this business, we ought to let them.
But what I'm saying
Dang it, we ought to do our damnedest to help them make a go of it. Now, how many of your fellows are out of work?
258.
Well, I'd rather spend my money keeping 258 tax-paying wage earners in this town than watch it go for their unemployment benefits.
I could appreciate that.
And when do they shut down this furnace?
A week from Friday.
There's 10 days, fellas. I suggest we get a wiggle on.
Hey, Paul! How about a quote? Monday never felt so good. Okay. Let's hear it for tight-fisted bankers who know when to get a wiggle on. I don't know how good this is for you, but I want to say it. I'm not kidding myself about Goshen. I know we got a long haul ahead of us, not only for the plant, but the town. But if we pull it off, we're going to have something pretty good to pass on to our kids. Okay?
Okay. When you start selling stock, give me a chance to get in on the action.
You won't be sorry. Thanks, Lou.
Lots of luck. Be extra careful with this.
They don't have anything like this in L.A., do they?
They will in about 6 hours.
Lou! Wait a minute. Hi, Howie.
Carol, you just caught me.
Brought you something.
The family picture.
Well, they were in with all that sewing stuff I bought at the auction. I knew you'd just kick yourself if you lost them.
I've been kicking myself.
There's one in there of your folks at a picture. Oh, it's wonderful. Your mother's all dressed up. Big straw hat, and your father's, well, I mean, he looks like the cat that ate the canary. Oh, you gotta frame it.
I will. Listen. Thank you for this.
You're welcome.
Say so long to Eric.
I sure will.
Good seeing you again, Carol.
He was a crazy crack-up at the tender age of 10. Make 'em Laugh Week continues with the extraordinary life of Steve Martin, tonight on Biography. Now, a tough cop searches the slums for a serial killer. William Shatner stars in Police Story, next on A&E.